Good day. Greetings from Father Joe, your friendly neighborhood pastor, coming to you from St. Patrick's Church in lovely Highland Mills, New York. Today is Wednesday of the 12th week in Ordinary Time, and in our first reading, we are with Abram, and he is speaking to God about his covenant. God has promised that he will be the father of many nations, and yet he has no children. And he's getting older. It reminds me of the story of Unbroken. Lou Zamperini, famous Olympian who went to war in the Second World War and then was shot down. His plane was shot down. They were at sea for a long time. Then he was rescued, I guess you could say, by the Japanese and taken to a prisoner of war camp and released at the end of the war. Now, here's the thing. When his plane was going down, he asked God to save him. And each step of the way, God saved him again, but not completely. Now, the difficulty here is, in the movie, they end with Lou Zamperini coming home. That's the end of the war, and he's safe. But God still has a lot more planned for him, what he cannot see at this point. Lou Zamperini is still an alcoholic. He's bitter. He's got post-traumatic stress disorder. His life is a disaster. And in the book, which I highly recommend, by Laura Hildenbrandt, it continues with the story because God does heal and save Lou Zamperini. His wife and friends take him to a Billy Graham crusade. He meets Billy Graham. They pray together. Billy Graham helps him to forgive those people. And then he is saved. But in being saved, he is transformed into an evangelist. And so what looks hopeless at so many times during the story, we really only see it later on fulfilled. And so God is speaking to Abram, and he promises this, and Abram doesn't see it. And so God says, look up at the sky, count the stars if you can. This is during the day. Abram can't see any of the stars, but they're there. And so God does something very special. He enters into a covenant with Abram. He passes through the animals that have been slaughtered. Basically, what this is saying is, if I'm not faithful to this covenant or to my oath, then may I be killed like these animals. But usually, both parties walk between the animals. And in this case, God does, but he does not ask Abram to. I see this as a foreshadowing of Jesus on the cross. Jesus dies to bring about this new covenant, the covenant in his blood. And Jesus dies. He doesn't ask us to all be crucified and to die, but he offers his life for us so that we can be saved and we can be healed. And no matter where you are in your life, like Lou Zamperini, maybe you're flying in the plane and it hasn't been shot down yet, or maybe, you're on the raft thinking that you're going to die, or maybe you think you're going to be rescued when the Japanese pick them up, only to find out that you're going to a prisoner of war camp. No matter where you are in your life, God has a plan to save you and to heal you. It is his covenant with us. And you don't want to kind of give up early like the movie did and said, well, you're physically safe. God's plan is that we should be healed and restored and lifted up. And that's why Jesus gave his life for us. That's why he gave his life for you. So today we re-entrust our lives to Jesus and this new covenant. Amen.